Hi, this is Daryl Meyer from Keller, Texas. Today is Monday, July 26, 2010. Well, I hope you had a good weekend. Let's get started with what's going on in the news. This first story out of Haaretz.com says Netanyahu says Palestinians are dodging direct Mideast peace talks. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has conditioned a move to direct negotiations with guarantees regarding security and the borders of a future Palestinian state. Palestinian Authority is determined to sabotage attempts to upgrade the ongoing proximity Middle East peace talks with direct negotiations, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said today, adding that direct talks were the only way to ensure Israel's security interest. Continuing previous efforts to encourage direct talks with Israel that took place during his stint as President of the European Union that ended 1 month ago, Spanish Foreign Minister Miguel Moratinos will meet with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Amman this Tuesday. Abbas has recently indicated he will resist United States pressure for face-to-face peace talks with Israel for now, saying indirect negotiations must make progress first. The Palestinian president has said that he wants the indirect negotiations to produce results on the issues of the security and borders of a future Palestinian state to be founded alongside Israel on land captured in 1967. Netanyahu said direct talks can commence as early as next week, adding that Israel had an understanding with the Americans that we must move into direct negotiations immediately and without further delay. However, the Prime Minister claimed that the PA has responded to its invitation to direct talks with an effort to evade this attempt. If anyone had any doubts regarding the Palestinians' reluctance, it is now crystal clear, Netanyahu said, adding that the PA were stalling direct talks and relying on the Arab League for support. Now, you've heard me say it before. Abbas doesn't truly want peace. He wants Israel to be wiped off the face of the map and for the Palestinians to occupy Israeli land. That's his goal, not peace. So don't be fooled by them attempting to talk about peace in the region. You know, honestly, peace won't come until Jesus Christ does. So they can be talking about peace all they want. It's not going to happen. Sorry, hate to say it, but you know, I've read my Bible. I know what it says. Here's a story out of, where is this? ensec.org. insec.org. It says Hezbollah takes aim at Israel's natural gas discovery. The discovery of a gigantic natural gas reserve less than 100 miles off Israel's coast seems like great news for the diplomatically and militarily embattled country. The gas finding will strengthen Israel's energy security, enable it to become an important gas exporter, and contribute wealth to its economy. It could also be the pretext for the next Middle East war. 10 years after Israel's withdrawal from southern Lebanon, Hezbollah is struggling to find a cause that would enable it to continue its liberation war against Israel. So, Hezbollah has claimed that the deposit extends into Lebanese water and that it would not allow Israel to loot Lebanese gas resources. So, it's looks like they may go to war over this oil and gas find that Israel says is in their waters and Hezbollah is saying it's not. So I can see a fight coming on over that. You know what? They're just looking for excuses to fight. You know, at this point, they don't want peace. They're trying to wipe Israel off the face of the map, and any excuse to do so to justify their agenda is going to be highly sought after. Here's another story out of Haaretz.com. It says the U.S. and Israel sign a deal to tackle Iran long-range missiles. Defense Ministry says the Arrow 3, which is still in development, could shoot down weapons of mass destruction outside the atmosphere. Israel and the United States have signed an agreement to make the Arrow 2 ballistic shield capable of shooting down missiles at a higher altitude, the Israeli Defense Ministry said on Sunday. The Arrow 3 will allow Israel to deal with the threat of ballistic missiles with long range and give it the ability to shoot down weapons of mass destruction outside the atmosphere. So they are seriously bolstering their defense systems. You know that they've got the Iron Dome for short-range missiles. They've got David's Sling, also known as the Magic Wand, which has a range of hundreds of kilometers, while the Arrow 3 is designed to shoot down missiles outside the Earth's atmosphere. They also have a Patriot system, so they are strengthening their defenses. Notice they're not strengthening their offense, just their defense. They're not going out and trying to engage anyone anywhere else. They're building strongholds in their own country, building defenses, fortifying themselves from within so they can protect themselves from an onslaught of an aggressive enemy. Here's a story out of Yahoo.com. Says the U.S. shows its power to North Korea with carrier drills. The East Sea off the coast of the Korean Peninsula roiled today with U.S. and South Korean ships, submarines, fighter jets, and helicopters. High-profile military maneuvers intended to show North Korea that it is being watched. Military officials said that despite threats of retaliation, North Korea was staying clear. Most of the firepower for the 4-day exercises, which North Korea condemns, of course, has been flying off the decks of the USS George Washington, a U.S. supercarrier that can carry up to 70 aircraft and more than 5,000 sailors. Wow, that's a big ship. That's really big. So they're right there. Of course, China's not happy with this. North Korea's not. North Korea actually said they will retaliate with nuclear responses. I'm like, wow, that's pretty harsh. Here's a story out of Arutz Sheva. Obama names Medicaid chief who backs anti-Israel doctors. Republicans and some Democrats are in an uproar over U.S. President Barack Obama's naming a Medicare chief who backs socialized medicine and an anti-Israel physicians group. The appointment of Donald Berwick, who is heavily involved in the anti-Israel Physicians for Human Rights organization, was made without going through the usual process of securing confirmation by the Senate. There's a shock. Let's just throw away the Constitution. We're not using it any longer. Opposition to his appointment was strengthened after it was discovered that Dr. Berwick said in a speech 2 years ago that the British system of socialized medicine is superior to the American health system. So once again, here's another move made without going through the normal channels that have been in process, in place in this country for hundreds of years. Just another attempt at our current president to do things his way. All right, let me go to Acts 9, verse 4, and read this to you. It says, and this is talking about when Saul was on his way to Damascus, and he was going there to kill Christians. It says, then he fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Okay, it's easy for us to find fault with Saul of Tarsus, okay, the man who would eventually become the Apostle Paul. We see him as a prime opponent of the church. We see him as a killer of Christians, and we see him on the other side of the cross. Now don't misunderstand. This is not an attempt to justify any of Saul's crimes against the church or Christians or the cross. But it does show that we can overlook Saul's sincerity in doing what he did. He truly and fully believed that he was doing God a service by capturing and killing Christians. You know, based on a lifetime of intensive training, he thought Jesus was just another false teacher whose followers had to be silenced. There are people today, this very day, who do the same thing. There are groups of people, there are religions of people who think they need to kill Christians. I'm not going to name names. You know where I'd be going with that. Anyway, here was a man who killed Christians because he was following the law, and he thought these people were breaking the law by following what he called other gods. And turns out this man turned out to be one of the best disciples for Jesus Christ ever. So imagine how he felt when the Lord finally revealed to him that all this time he had been persecuting the one he was trying to serve. That's a pretty hard message to receive, and it's very hard for people to receive it today. So Jesus delivers it so perfectly in the form of a question by saying, why are you persecuting me? I mean, Jesus could have blasted Saul on this. He could have come down with lightning bolts. He could have said, you know what, Saul, you're wrong. Boom, you're out of here. He could have been very harsh. I would have been very harsh. I'd be like, hey, hello, wake up. Wrong, you're wrong. He could have done that, but God didn't want to do that. Instead, the Lord wanted to reveal the truth of his actions in a way he could receive and recover from. So a question was the perfect way of doing this, because it gradually caused Saul to see that he had been wrong all along. Thank God that he is the way he is, because if he were doing things the way we do things, it'd be terrible. Let me go to John 16, verse 2. Jesus says, "They will put you out of the synagogue. In fact, a time is coming when anyone who kills you will think he's offering a service to God." A lot of people think this. Let me go to Matthew 5, verses 10 through 12. "Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven." Let me finish up with Romans 12, verse 14. And that says, "Bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse." It's going to get harder and harder for Christians to follow Jesus Christ. We're going to be persecuted for the name of Jesus. He told us this would happen. But take heart. We have already overcome this world. God bless you. Good Lord willing, I'll see you again tomorrow.